Welcome to your guide to learning the English language. Today, you are taking a very important first step. Learning English can open many doors for you in your life. It is the language of international communication, business, science, and the internet. When you can understand and speak English, you can connect with people from all over the world. You can travel to new countries with more confidence. You can also enjoy movies, music, and books in their original English form. This journey might seem long, but every step you take brings you closer to your goal. We will walk this path together, one simple lesson at a time. This guide is designed to be clear and easy to follow. We will not rush through complicated ideas. Instead, we will build your knowledge slowly and carefully. Think of it like building a house. First, you must lay a strong foundation. After the foundation is secure, you can start building the walls and then the roof. Our foundation will be the alphabet and its sounds. Then we will add the bricks, which are the common words you use every day. We will then learn how to put these bricks together to form strong sentences. Your confidence will grow with each new word and each new grammar rule you learn. Many people think learning a new language is very difficult. It is true that it requires effort and dedication. However, it is not an impossible task. Millions of people have successfully learned English as a second language, and you can too. The key is to be patient with yourself and to practice a little bit every day. You do not need to study for many hours at once. Even 15 or 20 minutes of focused practice each day can make a very big difference over time. Remember that making mistakes is a normal and essential part of the learning process. Do not be afraid to try. Our goal in this guide is to give you the essential tools to start communicating. We will focus on practical English that you can use in real-life situations. We will cover the basics of pronunciation, so you can sound clear when you speak. We will look at simple grammar structures, so you can build your own sentences correctly. We will also practice common conversations, such as greeting someone or asking for directions. This guide is your starting point. It will give you the confidence and the basic skills you need to continue improving and to become a fluent English speaker. Your adventure with English starts right now. The English alphabet is the very first thing you need to learn. It is the foundation for reading, writing, and speaking. The alphabet has 26 letters. There are two forms for each letter, the capital letter, or uppercase, and the small letter, or lowercase. For example, A is the capital letter, and A is the small letter. They both make the same sound. It is important to learn to recognize and write both forms. We use capital letters for the beginning of sentences and for proper names like John or London. Learning these 26 letters is your first important step. Take your time to memorize them in order. Each letter in the alphabet represents one or more sounds. The 26 letters are divided into two groups, vowels and consonants. The vowels are very important letters, A, E, I, O, U. Sometimes the letter Y is also considered a vowel. All other letters are called consonants. Vowels can make different sounds depending on the word they are in. For example, the A in cat sounds different from the A in cake. This can be tricky, but you will learn the patterns with practice. Understanding the difference between vowels and consonants will help you a lot with both pronunciation and spelling later on. Now let's talk about pronunciation. This means how you say the words. English pronunciation can be challenging because some letters have many different sounds. It is a good idea to listen to native English speakers as much as possible. You can watch videos or listen to audio clips. Try to copy the sounds you hear. For example, the sound "the" is common in English in words like "the" and "think." This sound may not exist in your native language. You will need to practice how to place your tongue between your teeth to make it correctly. Do not worry about being perfect at the beginning, just try your best to make the sounds. To practice, you can say the alphabet out loud every day, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As you say each letter, think about its sound. You can also practice with simple words. For example, for the letter B, you can say ball or book. For the letter C, you can say cat or car. This connects the letter to a sound and a word, which makes it easier to remember. There are many resources online, like videos that show you how to pronounce each letter sound. Using these resources will help you build a strong foundation for clear speaking. This is a crucial skill for communication. After learning the alphabet and its sounds, the next step is to learn some words. We will start with the most common and useful words in English. These are the words you will see and hear all the time. Think about the people and things around you. We can start with nouns, which are words for people, places, and things. For example, man, woman, teacher, student. For places you can learn house, school, city, country. For things you can learn book, pen, table, chair. Learning these basic nouns will allow you to name the world around you in English. Next, it is important to learn some common verbs. Verbs are action words. They describe what someone or something is doing. Some of the most important verbs in English are to be, to have, and to do. Other very useful verbs include go, come, see, say, eat, drink, read, and write. When you learn a new verb, try to use it in a very simple phrase. For example, I go, you see, we eat. This helps you remember the word and how it is used. Verbs are the engine of a sentence. They make things happen. We also need to learn some adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. They add more detail and make your sentences more interesting. For example, instead of just saying car, you can say a big car or a red car. Some basic adjectives to learn are words for colors, red, blue, green, yellow. Also learn words for size, big, small, long, short. And words for feelings, happy, sad, good, bad. When you learn a new noun, try to think of an adjective you can use with it. For example, a big house, a good book, a happy student. To build your vocabulary effectively, you should not just memorize lists of words. It is better to learn words in context. This means seeing or hearing the word in a phrase or sentence. You can use flashcards to practice. On one side of the card, write the new English word. On the other side, you can write the translation in your language, or you can draw a picture of the word. Review your flashcards every day. Try to make a simple sentence with each word. For example, if the word is water, you can say, I drink water. This active practice is much more effective than passive memorization. Now that you know some words, we can learn to put them together to make sentences. The most basic sentence structure in English is subject-verb-object, or SVO. The subject is the person or thing that does the action. The verb is the action. The object is the person or thing that receives the action. For example, in the sentence I read a book, I is the subject, read is the verb, and a book is the object. Understanding this simple SVO pattern is the key to building your own sentences. It is the fundamental blueprint for most statements in the English language. Let's look at more examples of the subject-verb-object structure. The subject is often a pronoun like I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. Or it can be a noun like the student or my friend. The verb is an action word we have learned, like eat, like, or see. The object is another noun. Let's make some sentences. She likes apples. Subject, she, verb likes object apples. We see a car. Subject, we, verb see, object a car. The student writes a letter. Subject, the student, verb writes object a letter. Practice making your own SVO sentences with the words you know. Of course, not all sentences have an object. Some sentences are just subject-verb SV. This happens when the verb does not act on anything. These verbs are called intransitive verbs. For example, verbs like sleep, walk, or arrive. In these cases, the sentence is shorter but still complete. For example, he sleeps. Subject, he verb sleeps. They walk. Subject, they verb walk. The train arrived. Subject, the train, verb, arrived. These simple SV sentences are very common and useful for basic communication. You can add more information to them, for example, he sleeps in the bed, or they walk to school. To create these simple sentences, you also need to know about articles. The words a, an, and the are called articles. We use a or an for general singular nouns. Use a before a word that starts with a consonant sound like a book or a car. Use and before a word that starts with a vowel sound like an apple or an elephant. We use the for specific nouns that we have already talked about or that are unique. For example, I have a cat. The cat is black. First I say a cat, general, then I say the cat, specific. Mastering articles takes practice, but starting with these basic rules is very helpful. In English, we use different verb forms called tenses to talk about time. The first and most important tense to learn is the simple present tense. We use the simple present to talk about things that are generally true or are habits. These are facts that do not change, or actions that happen regularly. For example, we can say, the sun rises in the east. This is a general truth. We can also say, I drink coffee every morning. This is a habit or a routine. The simple present tense helps us describe our world and our daily lives in a very clear way. Forming the simple present tense is quite easy for most subjects. For I, you, we, and they, you just use the base form of the verb. For example, I work in an office. You speak English. We play football. They live in London. As you can see, the verb does not change. This makes it very simple to start forming sentences once you know the base form of a verb. You can immediately start talking about your life, your job, and your hobbies using this simple and direct structure. It is a very powerful tool for new learners. There is one important rule you must remember for the simple present tense. When the subject is he, she, or it, this is called the third person singular, you must add s or es to the end of the verb. For example, we say he works in an office. She speaks English. It rains a lot here. For most verbs, you just add s. For verbs that end in o, sich, esh, ss, x, or iz, you add s. For example, go becomes goes, and watch becomes watches. This is a very common mistake for learners, so it is important to practice it carefully. To make a negative sentence in the simple present, we use do not or don't, and does not or doesn't. We use don't with I, you, we, and they. For example, I don't like milk. They don't live here. We use doesn't with he, she, and it. For example, he doesn't work on Sunday. She doesn't speak French. Notice that when you use doesn't, the main verb goes back to its base form. We say, he doesn't work, not he doesn't works. This is another important rule to master for making correct negative statements about habits and facts. After learning to talk about the present, we need to learn how to talk about the past. For this, we use the simple past tense. The simple past tense is used to describe actions that started and finished at a specific time in the past. We often use time words like yesterday, last week, last year, or 5 minutes ago with this tense. For example, you can say, I visited my friend yesterday. The action of visiting is complete, it happened in the past. This tense is essential for telling stories or for sharing your past experiences with other people. To form the simple past tense for most verbs, which are called regular verbs, you simply add ed to the end of the base form of the verb. For example, walk becomes walked, play becomes played, watch becomes watched. So you can make sentences like, I walked to the park. She played tennis with her brother. We watched a movie last night. This rule is very consistent for thousands of verbs, which makes it relatively easy to learn and apply. If the verb already ends in e, you just add d, for example, live becomes lived. However, English also has many important irregular verbs. These verbs do not follow the ed rule. Their past tense forms are unique and you must memorize them. For example, the past tense of go is went, not goed. The past tense of see is saw. The past tense of eat is ate. Some other common irregular verbs are be, was it were, have, had, and do, did. It is a good idea to get a list of the most common irregular verbs and study them. For example, I went to the store. She saw a bird. We had a good time. To make negative sentences in the simple past, we use did not, didn't, followed by the base form of the verb. This rule works for both regular and irregular verbs, which makes it very simple. For example, I didn't walk to the park. She didn't play tennis. For irregular verbs, I didn't go to the store. She didn't see a bird. Notice that the verb returns to its base form. Walk, play, go, see. You do not say I didn't went. This is a very common structure for talking about things that did not happen in the past. We have learned about the present and the past. Now let's learn how to talk about the future. The simple future tense is used to talk about actions or events that will happen later. We use it to make predictions, promises, or to state our plans. There are two very common ways to form the future in English. The first and simplest way is by using the word will, followed by the base form of the verb. This structure is the same for all subjects, which makes it very easy to use. Let's look at some examples with will. You can use it to talk about a future event. The train will arrive at 10 a.m. You can use it to make a promise. I will help you with your homework. You can also use it for a spontaneous decision. I am thirsty. I think I will buy a drink. The negative form is will not, which is usually shortened to won't. For example, he won't be at the party. We won't finish the project today. Using will and won't is a straightforward way to express future intentions and predictions. The second common way to talk about the future is by using the phrase be going to. This structure is formed with the correct form of the verb to be, plus going to, plus the base form of the verb. We often use be going to talk about plans that we have already decided. For example, I'm going to visit my grandparents next weekend. This means I have already made the plan. She is going to start her new job on Monday. This is a firm plan. This structure is very common in spoken English for discussing future arrangements. Let's compare will and be going to. Often they can be used interchangeably. However, be going to emphasizes a prior plan or intention. For example, if you look at dark clouds in the sky, you can say, it is going to rain. This is a prediction based on present evidence. Will is often used for more spontaneous decisions, as we saw before. For example, if the phone rings, you might say, I will get it. You did not plan to answer the phone before it rang. Understanding this small difference will help you choose the best way to talk about the future. Knowing grammar is important, but you also need to know how to use it in real conversations. Let's start with the most basic interactions: greetings and introductions. When you meet someone, you can say hello or hi. Hi is a little more informal. After the greeting, it is polite to ask, "How are you?" The common answer is, "I'm fine, thank you." "And you?" Another common response is, "I'm good, thanks." After you exchange greetings, you can introduce yourself. You can say, "My name is," or "I'm." Then you can say, "Nice to meet you." Asking questions is a very important skill for having a conversation. To ask for information, we often use question words. These words are who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who is for a person, like who is that? What is for a thing or an idea, like what is your name? Where is for a place, for example, where do you live? When is for a time, such as when is your birthday? Why is for a reason, like why are you learning English? How is for a method or manner, for example, how do you go to school? Learning these question words will allow you to start and continue conversations. Let's look at how to form simple questions. For questions with the verb to be, you just change the order of the subject and the verb. The statement is, you are a student. The question becomes, are you a student? The statement is, he is from Spain. The question becomes, is he from Spain? For most other verbs in the simple present, we use do or does to ask a question. For example, the statement is, you like pizza. The question is, do you like pizza? The statement is, she works here. The question is, does she work here? Giving simple answers is just as important as asking questions. For yes, no questions like, are you a student? Or do you like pizza? You can give a short answer, for example, yes, I am, or no, I'm not, or yes, I do, or no, I don't. For questions with question words like, where do you live? You need to give information. For example, where do you live? I live in Paris. What is your job? I am a teacher. Practicing these simple question and answer patterns will build your confidence for real-life interactions with English speakers. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. The most important thing you can do to become fluent is to practice a little bit every single day. Consistency is more powerful than studying for many hours only once a week. Try to create a daily learning habit. You can decide to study for just 15 or 20 minutes each day. You can do this in the morning, during your lunch break, or before you go to sleep. During this time, you can review your flashcards, learn 5 new words, or write a few sentences in English. This small, consistent effort will build up over time and lead to great results. To improve your English, you need to practice all 4 main skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For listening, you can listen to English music, watch movies or TV shows with subtitles, or find podcasts for English learners. Try to listen for words and phrases that you know. For reading, start with simple text. You can find graded readers, which are books written for different language levels. You can also read news articles or blogs on topics that you enjoy. Don't worry if you don't understand every word, just try to understand the main idea. Speaking is often the most difficult skill for learners because it requires confidence. It is important to find opportunities to speak, even if you are a beginner. If you have a friend who is also learning, you can practice with them. You can also try to find a language exchange partner online. Another very simple and effective technique is to talk to yourself in English. You can describe your room, talk about your day, or read a short text out loud. This helps you practice making the sounds and forming sentences without the pressure of a conversation. Finally, stay motivated on your language learning journey. Remember why you started learning English. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or connect with new friends. Keep these goals in your mind. Celebrate your small successes. Be proud of yourself for learning a new tense or for having a short conversation. Do not be discouraged by mistakes. They are proof that you are trying. The path to fluency is built with daily practice, patience, and a positive attitude. Keep going, and you will achieve your goal of mastering the English language.